Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me this afternoon is Tim Halbach from the National Weather Service, Milwaukee Sullivan. Always a pleasure to have him on the show. Tim, welcome back. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Thanks, Jeremy.
Glad to have you back, and I know you're really busy. We certainly appreciate your time as always. We're talking about polar vortex. Whenever we get to use that term, I mean, how exciting. But yet, we've been talking a lot here in the last couple of days on the safety aspect. But Tim, if you could just start by setting up, why are we in this situation today?
Yeah, so the weather pattern we're getting into is basically ushering cold air straight down from the North Pole. So it's the chunk of air that always sits over that area that sometimes our weather fluctuates, and it'll kick some of these pieces down from the pole and bring it down over us. So just so happens that right now it's a very deep trough that's setting up that is basically straight north winds that are bringing this cold air down from the pole.
And this is very unusual, correct?
Yeah, it's not very often that we get into this kind of a setup where the temperatures are going to be this cold, and then on top of that, the winds are going to be as strong as they're going to be as well to bring these temperatures and wind chills down for the next few days here.
Tim, what you guys have done a great job of getting stuff out, but what as far as communication goes for getting this out to the public, what areas have you guys been doing? Are we alerting the weather radios? I know you're doing a great job, but where can we keep up with the most up-to-date information?
Yeah, so a lot of the information we put out on social media with, number one, just the updates on what kind of weather we're expecting and what the timing is, when it's going to be at the worst. So we do a lot of that on our Facebook page and our Twitter account as well. There's weather.gov, which is more of the specific information forecast-wise for your location that you can get on there as well. We try to talk a little bit about, what does the weather do for impacting you? Why are we so concerned about how cold it's going to be? And just trying to reiterate into some of the things with, if you don't have your skin completely covered up, you're going to get frostbite within the matter of minutes in this type of cold weather because it doesn't happen that often. So it can be kind of hard to picture how bad it's actually going to be for people. A lot of people haven't seen this kind of cold air mass in maybe their lifetime so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And take us through the next couple of days, Tim. Exactly what are we looking at here as far as both temperatures and wind chills?
Yeah, so the Arctic front has come through, so you probably have seen some of the wind starting to blow some of the freshly fallen snow around. Temperatures are just going to continue to drop through tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the coldest day that we have, along with the wind chills as well. So we're looking at air temperatures in the negative 20s, and the high temperature tomorrow not even getting out of the negative teens. So it's going to be a very cold day. The wind chills are going to be down around negative 50 to negative 55 at some times going into tomorrow. And during the peak of what we consider our warmest part of the day tomorrow afternoon, it's only going to be in the negative teens for air temperature with wind chills still in the negative 30s. So very dangerously cold. Wind chill warning criteria is negative 35 for us. So we don't go above that at all over the next, from this evening through Thursday morning. So we do see some improvement going into Thursday, but it's still going to be very cold. Right around late morning, lunchtime is when it looks like we might pop above the wind chill warning criteria, but then still looks like it's cold for much of the day Thursday. And then it's not until maybe Friday that we start popping above any of the advisory criteria. So very cold stretch going through the rest of the week.
Tim, can you talk about behind the scenes how you guys are working with emergency management sectors, whether it's from the state all the way down to local municipalities?
Yeah, so we've been doing daily briefings with our state partners, so Wisconsin Emergency Management, DOT, State Patrol, all those different entities to give them an idea of what's happening across the state, what the forecast is like. We were briefing leading up to the winter storm over the past few days that occurred from central Wisconsin on through. So we do all these statewide briefings, and then we also work down to the level of briefing school district superintendents and working with them to let them know, hey, here are the details on when this impactful weather is coming through. We don't tell them when to cancel school or anything like that because there's a lot of other things that go into that are not weather related. So we work with them to say, here's what we're expecting and the timing of it to help you with your decision making. So we have a lot of people that we try to work with, and also the public. We just want the public to know of what's coming as well. So a lot of these briefings and just trying to get the message out of what we're expecting and why it's going to be impactful.
And Tim, let's talk about a little bit more. You had mentioned it about we need to get our face covered. We need to, basically, we need to stay out of the elements here. But what are some of the dangers here that we're really talking about, especially tomorrow?
So the initial threat is frostbite. So if you're outside and you have any exposed skin that is out in that kind of air, it's only going to take a matter of minutes till you get frostbite. So some people that have gotten frostbite in the past, you can't feel your fingertips anymore. Sometimes it's your nose. The extremities are the ones that really need to be covered up and have the greatest chance of getting frostbite the quickest. So that's the first level. The next level is hypothermia. When your body's core temperature starts going down below a certain temperature threshold, that it starts reacting to it's trying to warm it up. So you start shivering, doing things like that try to warm yourself up. And when your body temperature gets too low, then it's possible that you can pass out, and the worst case scenario would be that you die from those conditions. So we had a fatality already occur with somebody that was shoveling in Milwaukee, where they overdid it and passed out in their garage, and that's a very unfortunate accident that has occurred. But we've seen that happen in past cold snaps where people slip and fall or pass out or get knocked unconscious, and that's where some of these fatalities occur because of hypothermia. So that's a worst case scenario.
Yeah, it is definitely a life and threat situation that we are looking at here. Tim, moving forward here, what's the forecast look like as we get past this? Are we, for the rest of, it's hard to say for the rest of winter, are we going to see continued cold temperatures like this? I know you don't have your crystal ball with you today, but are we going to continue to see a pattern like this for the rest of the winter?
So at least for the near future, the good thing about this cold spell is that it does look like we warm up on the weekend to where we'll be in the 30s to almost maybe 40 on Saturday and Sunday. So that's one of the good things about this cold spell is that it's going to be short-lived. Going beyond that, we still have somewhat of an active pattern going into next week. Beyond that, honestly, we've been so inundated with just focusing on what's happening in front of us right now that we're in the middle of winter, so expect more winter for the next month or so here.
Absolutely. Tim, I certainly appreciate the time today. And finally, again, if anybody wants to stay up on your guys' information, continue to get out there, how can they do so?
Yeah, so free internet available to anybody. Weather.gov is our main page for across the Weather Service. Locally, it's weather.gov/Milwaukee. You can even type in /Madison, and that will take you to our website. You can get local information, forecasts, and all that. Latest information, great spot to go to. We're also on Twitter at NWSMKX, and then Facebook at National Weather Service Milwaukee Sullivan as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Tim, and to everybody at the Weather Service for your hard work through all this, and hopefully you guys get a break here too, along with the rest of us. But thank you for continuing to get that information out there.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, that's Tim Halbach, National Weather Service, Milwaukee Sullivan. Always appreciate the time it gives us, and again, check their website frequently as we share on the show all the time. We'll take a quick break. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.